like you're juggling, like trying to walk and text at the same time, and you almost walk into something because you're looking down.
Or you miss like a beautiful sunset because you're scrolling through social media.
Yes, exactly. Like you're missing out on real life because you're so plugged in.
It's ironic, right?
Totally. What if, instead of fighting for our attention, our devices could actually blend seamlessly with our surroundings?
Yeah, I'm listening.
It's where Meta's Orion AR glasses come in. From the articles and videos you sent, it seems like they're trying to make the smartphone about as relevant as a floppy disk.
It's a bold move, considering how attached we are to these things.
Right. So before we go full sci-fi, can you walk me through the basics? What are we even talking about here?
Okay, so irregular glasses, like way cooler.
Cooler how?
Well, for starters, they're see-through. The lenses are transparent, so you're not shut off from the real world like with those clunky VR headsets. Meta made a big deal about that in their press release.
So no more bumping into furniture because you can't see anything.
Exactly. Actually augment your reality, not replace it. One of the keys to that is the field of view. It's 70 degrees, which might not sound like a lot, but The Verge kept going on about how important that is for immersion.
Yeah, the host was gushing about feeling like they were actually in the experience, not just peering through a tiny window.
Exactly. And that wide field of view lets you interact with digital objects in a more natural way, almost like they're really there in the room with you.
Okay, now that sounds kind of cool. But how do they actually display those digital objects? I keep hearing the term holographic projection, and I'm picturing like Princess Leia.
It does sound pretty Star Wars, right?
Oh.
But think about it this way. Regular projector shines light at a surface. Holographic projection suspends light in the air.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so it's like these mini projectors embedded in the frame of the glasses. They're beaming those holographic images directly onto your retinas.
So you see a 3D image that you can actually walk around.
Exactly.
Okay, that's way cooler than I initially imagined. But how do you control these things? Are we back to doing those weird hand gestures in public?
That's where things get really wild. Remember that part in the Verge video where the host is making a smoothie? AI is basically reading their mind?
A little creepy, right?
Totally. It's just a taste of what this neural wristband can do. Wait.
A neural wristband? You're telling me I can control these glasses with my mind?
Well, not exactly telepathy, but...
Yeah, but close. Come on, you gotta give me more. So neural wristband, mind control, spill the tea. How does it actually work?
Okay, so it's not really reading your thoughts or anything, but it's close. It's based on this technology called EMG, which stands for electromyography. Basically, it can detect the electrical signals your muscles produce even before you move.
So it knows what I'm gonna do before I do it.
Exactly. It's sensing your intention to move, not the movement itself. Like, think about those VR games where you have to wave your hands around like a crazy person.
Yeah, not exactly subtle.
Right. This is way more intuitive. The CNET video shows the hosts trying it out. They said it felt like the glasses were an extension of their body. They even played a game of virtual Pong against Zuckerberg.
No way. Who won?
They didn't say, but the point is, this tech is pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, no kidding. And this whole thing with the smoothie recipe, that wasn't just a coincidence, was it? The AI wasn't just suggesting a recipe based on the ingredients the host had. It knew what they were going to do next.
That's the crazy part. It's like it was anticipating their next move before they even made it.
Okay, that's both impressive and a little unnerving. Like, how much does this thing actually know about me?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's something we'll have to grapple with as this technology evolves, because this isn't just a display, it's like a proactive assistant, right? It's not just reacting to what you're doing, it's anticipating your needs. Meta talked about this in their blog post. They're saying, imagine a world where you can make calls, send messages, video chat, all while you're doing everyday things.
So I could be like cooking dinner and talking to my grandma on video chat, and it wouldn't even feel weird.
Exactly. And because you wouldn't need to look down at your phone, you could actually be more present in the moment, even while you're multitasking.
Okay, I have to admit, that part is pretty appealing. And this isn't just some far-off fantasy, right? I mean, Zuckerberg has been showing off this wristband thing for years. It's like he's been planning this all along.
Definitely seems like it's been in the works for a while. And it shows how committed Meta is to this whole idea. They're not just trying to make our phones a little bit better, they're trying to completely change the way we interact with technology.
So what you're saying is Orion isn't just about looking cool, it's about actually doing cool stuff. Give me some examples. What else can we do with these things?
Well, they showed people using the glasses for work. like being able to multitask with the virtual screens, collaborate with colleagues on 3D models, and they could still be fully present in the actual meeting room.
It's like having all your devices in one, your phone, your laptop, even your TV, all in a pair of glasses.
Right. And that idea of being less reliant on traditional screens, it's a big part of Meta's pitch. They're saying you could actually help us be more present in the real world.
Pretty bold.
Claim it is. I mean, it remains to be seen how it all plays out in the real world, but you can't deny the intent is there.
Part of me is really excited about all of this, but then I think about that moment in the Verge video where the host starts to feel overwhelmed, like
Yeah.
too much information, too many notifications. It's almost like their reality starts to break down instead of being augmented.
Yeah, it's like walking that tightrope between adding value to our reality and just completely overloading it.
Exactly. And that makes me think about the whole privacy issue, which is a big one with any new tech, but especially with something like this. We're talking about a device that's basically with you all the time, seeing what you see, hearing what you hear. And with this neural wristband, potentially even knowing what you're thinking before you do it.
It's a huge concern.
It's like, how much of ourselves are we willing to share in exchange for all of this?
Right. And the Economic Times article, they made a good point. Meta doesn't exactly have the best track record when it comes to handling user data.
That's one way to put it.
It does make you wonder about the implications here, especially with a device that's so integrated into your life.
It's almost a philosophical question, isn't it? Like, as this technology gets more and more advanced, are we going to be okay with that trade-off? More convenience, more connection, but less privacy.
Exactly. And it's not just about data privacy either. What about addiction, distraction?
Oh, right. Like, is this going to make it even harder to disconnect and be present in the real world?
It's a real possibility.
Yeah.
And then there's the issue of manipulation. If our reality is being shaped by algorithms, who's controlling those algorithms?
Okay, now I'm really starting to freak out a little. Maybe we should take a step back for a second and talk about the practical stuff. Because even with all the hype, Orion is still just a prototype. When are we actually going to be able to buy these things?
Yeah, don't get your wallet out just yet.
So no release date in sight.
Not that they've announced. They've been pretty quiet about that. But they admitted that actually manufacturing these things at scale, it's a huge challenge. The Verge article talked about that.
Which makes sense. We're talking about some seriously advanced technology here.
Definitely. And Zuckerberg himself even said in that Fast Company interview, he called the technical hurdles insane.
He wasn't kidding. I mean, miniaturizing all of that, getting the battery life right.
The battery life is the big one, right? Because what's the point of having these amazing glasses if they die after like an hour?
Exactly. So how long can we expect to be tethered to a power outlet with these things?
Well, from what I've heard, it's not great.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, the CNET people, they said the current prototypes last maybe 2-3 hours max, which isn't that surprising when you think about it. It's similar to what we're seeing with high-end VR headsets.
So not exactly something you can wear all day long, more like a cool gadget you use for a little while and then have to charge.
Exactly. It's a work in progress for sure. And Meta keeps saying, this is a purposeful prototype. We're pushing boundaries here.
But they're definitely thinking about the future, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is just the beginning. And Meta might be leading the charge right now, but they're not the only ones working on this kind of technology.
Right, Apple's got to be in the mix.
Apple, Microsoft, Snap, even. It's going to be a whole new world.
A whole new world with a whole lot of questions, it sounds like.
Definitely. But that's what makes this so fascinating, right? Talking about the future of how we interact with technology, how we connect with each other, how we experience the world around us.
Big questions. And no easy answers.
No, but it's a conversation worth having.
I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Yeah. This was a lot to process, but incredibly fascinating. Thanks for taking the deep dive.
And that's all for us today. Deep dive from Bytes, Buzz, and beyond. Don't forget to subscribe. See you around.